All right. So, welcome back to another game of Mixed Company. Today we have Devin, Angie, Liz, and Steve. We are going to play some Mixed Company with you, which we're excited about. So, if you haven't joined us before, the first thing we do in a game of Mixed Company is we choose the questions. So, everybody has 3 questions. And they get to look at them and decide which one they think would be the most fun to talk about and put it face up in the middle of the table. And then the other ones are going to get discarded over here.
Everybody else just got blue ones.
We just happened to get more blue.
Okay. Disoriented me there for a moment.
Why am I different?
Isn't that what we ask each other every day? Why? Why? Just because God has a sense of humor.
All right, and then we pick 2 from the random deck.
Okay.
Over here.
Thank you.
And then, Steve, would you read the questions for us today?
Okay. Would you be comfortable using your house or apartment as an Airbnb or other service where strangers stay with you? You get to start a new country. What should its first most important law be? You find out from an ex a previous relationship has transitioned to a different gender. What would you do? You have found out that you're being paid 40% less than a colleague in a similar position. What do? You have to convince a human you've never met that you're a person, not a computer. You have less than 1 minute to do this by text. What do you say? Would you rather live in perfect health and die at age 50, or live to age 100 but never see the sun again after your 18th birthday?
Okay, so we have a lot of hypothetical ones today.
Yes, we do.
That'll be fun. Okay,
Only play 3 of these, right?
that is correct. So now we're going to vote, and everyone has 3 yeses, 2 no's, and well, no's better. 2 no's, and 1 veto, and we're going to vote on 3 questions. So you'll have 3 to discard and 3 that go out on the table face down. So we're going to face down.
Peek.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this one. And this one. And then the discards will just go.
I already know what I'm putting. It's the most exquisite thing I can do.
Okay, discards.
All right. So now we count. So we have
We need either
1 no and 3 yeses. 2 yeses.
a bigger table or people
yes.
with better eyesight. Whatever you want.
So this one got a veto.
Or smaller tables.
So it's out. This one did not get any votes, and in this case, it's out.
Only one vote?
This one essentially got 2, and this one essentially got 1. Yeah, so this one will be out. So our 3 questions are going to be with 2 ties all the way through.
Okay.
Airbnb, start a new country, and transitioning genders from an ex. So let's start off with Airbnb. I'm just going to go in this order.
Okay.
So who put out the Airbnb question?
Me?
Okay, cool. So Steve is going to get to start us off. So the first thing we're going to do is challenge. So we're going to use our pink challenge card with the @ sign in the back, and Steve gets to issue the first challenge.
Okay. I want to do the opposite point of view because I think I already know what your thoughts on Airbnbs are, so I'm going to have you argue the opposite.
All right, Angie. Counterpoint to you.
And you immediately what to put for elite.
To the extreme.
All right. Stream B&B.
Didn't say it was going to be pretty.
Devin, I want you to smarten it up.
Oh, I was actually, you were my first nomination for this too. Anyway, I would like you to also, to the extreme.
Extreme.
Okay.
Extreme. That was bad. We're doing that again. Extreme.
There.
Okay.
Come on, if you're going to be extreme,
We're going to be
you gotta
extreme. We got to be extreme.
Extreme.
So now, during our conversation, we are going to use our action cards. Everyone has 3 actions, and the objective is to use all of your actions before the end of the game. So you're going to play them on other people during the conversation to engage them. And when you engage someone and they respond, you get a point. If you engage someone and they don't, they lose a point. And Steve, we'll start off our conversation.
Okay. Well, I won't have trouble being extreme with this because my views of Airbnbs are pretty extreme, and that is that Airbnb shouldn't exist. It's much like Uber and Lyft are, they call themselves harmless ride-sharing apps. And from the point of view of the technology company, perhaps that's true, but they are facilitating an illegal business, an unregulated, unlicensed taxi service that is undermining decent, largely unionized taxi driving jobs. Similarly, Airbnb is facilitating an illegal business in that these rooms that are being rented are not, they're not hotels. They are not built to hotel standards. They are not built to the life safety standards. They are not taxed the way hotels are. City governments should be out there cracking down on Airbnbs and issuing citations to anybody who's offering their place for rent.
Angie has an action.
Now, take the counterpoint.
A counterpoint.
That's right.
Okay. If it wasn't for the entire business model being illegal, I suppose it is a form of competition that could serve to keep hotel rates down, much in the same way that someone who serves rat on a stick is keeping the prices at McDonald's down.
Okay. Give a point for that one.
Rat on a stick. I see.
So I'm going to go extreme in the other direction. I mean, I get what you're saying. And it is actually interesting because in the last couple of years in particular, cities are cracking down on the taxation issue. And so Oklahoma, for example, just passed a regulation that says that Airbnb operators have to pay hotel motel tax.
Mm-hmm.
And so the organization that facilitates that can be held liable for making sure that those taxes are reported. So they are starting to collect that now because it was a burden on the community that wasn't getting the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So my extreme view is going to be that you should always stay in Airbnb because hotels put you in an environment where you're not really experiencing the place that you're visiting. You're experiencing a whitewashed, cleaned up, unrealistic, overpriced, and extensive setup for creating a tourist environment that actually drives prices up for the community. And so if you have like areas like Puerto Rico, where in particular parts of Puerto Rico, the cost of living has skyrocketed because of how much hotels cost and the real estate values that the hotels bring in, it means that it makes it very hard for people to live there. So if you did it the Airbnb way, you get to really experience the community and it doesn't create a inflated taxation on the landowners that are private landowners that aren't commercial landowners. So that's my view.
Okay, well, that was interesting, but I think you both kind of missed the point here. Would you have people in your home for an Airbnb? And I say to that, heck yes! Come on in my house. I think everybody should be able to stay with me because I am a lovely and charming hostess.
It's true, you are.
I will feed them delicious food-ish. And there will be no rats that they're aware of. And if they pay enough, could they use our bed? Would you mind if they slept in our bed and we could sleep out on the chaise and stretch out in the recliner? Would that be okay? Are you comfortable with that, Steve? Steve's my husband. Hey, Steve, would you be comfortable sharing like that?
I suppose if they paid enough, they could share the bed with us in it. But
Well,
That's a different question.
That's a different
That's
question.
a pink question.
Yes.
We're doing blue questions today.
Yes. We don't want this.
So we're doing age 16 and up questions, not safe for work questions at the moment.
Okay.
So save that one for your not safe for work question submission.
I don't
Join us
know.
for later videos.
Join us for another video.
Not sure that question could get any bluer, but
Bada boom. Okay, so yeah.
So everybody needs to come stay with you.
I think everybody needs to come see with me. And truthfully, I mean, you were saying the authentic. What could be more authentic than staying with an Iowan in Oklahoma?
Right?
So come to my house.
I mean, it's Midwest, right?
It's
kind
Midwest.
Of. Oklahoma's in a weird
Ish.
zone where we make up what we are depending on how we feel that day. But
Yes.
sometimes we're the Midwest.
Yes.
Sometimes.
And chances are they would eat corn.
it's true.
Chances are good.
Chances are very good
Chances
they would
are
eat
good.
corn sometime while they were staying with us. So, yeah. So that's my take on it.
I would actually be comfortable having it as an Airbnb. I think it would be a good chance to be kind of a tour guide and a host. I personally enjoy hosting and doing things like that to a point. Showing people the local stuff, really bringing things. I'm newer to the area here, so I can't say in this immediate area, but at a previous house, I would have loved it at my house on the river because I could have taken people out either canoeing or brought them out on the house barge with the neighbor. And it brings a much more personal feel to tourism. And like you said, there's a lot of legal gray area. Luckily, over the last few years, they've been cleaning up a fair bit of that. Like, especially Uber, they got into so much serious trouble that they're really close-knit about getting all their licensing and people through security clearance now. But comfort for me doing it, I would definitely be in it. Be a good way to socialize myself, remain feeling passionate about the area I'm living in instead of just becoming a hermit as I tend to do. Well, I'd be comfortable with it.
Okay. So since Angie did point out that we were slightly off topic, that, what do you think?
Again, I don't plan to operate any illegal businesses out of my house. You mentioned, that they were collecting taxes, but what about the health and life safety standards? I mean, we don't even have, at the moment, working smoke detectors. in
Whose
our
fault's that?
Technically the landlord, but okay.
Actually, technically, legally, the landlord is responsible for making sure that you have working smoke detectors.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So
what
we-
happens when
I
I
mean-
cook and they go beep, 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 so he pulls them all apart?
I mean,
Maybe turn the grease down a little bit.
Oh, fine. Now you tell me.
And as far as authenticity, I mean, if you're staying at an Airbnb in, say, Edmond, which is one of our, or Nichols Hills, one of our more affluent and, dare I say it, bland suburbs, you could just as easily be in Ladue, Missouri, or Overland Park, Kansas, or Oak Park, Illinois, and it's like going down the street with the Applebee's and the Outback Steakhouse and a Walgreens and a CVS on each corner, and you have to think for a minute. Now, what city am I in again? That's not authenticity.
Well, that's authentically what the town is.
Yeah, the same as every other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a very American. I agree with you, but it's an interestingly American take to compare how on different sides of the country our cities can be that similar.
Right.
Whereas you go somewhere else and you go 2 towns over and it's a whole different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever had someone you have you ever had someone you had not personally met before stay at your house?
At my house.
Do you drop them off at your friend's front door?
Well,
What the heck are you doing, Devin?
no. When I was doing elderly care, one of my clients who was
Okay.
already in had somebody he was only roughly familiar with move in and end up staying with him for almost 2 weeks. It said individual, I had no idea any of it about him otherwise either. Turns out he had a slightly criminal record and was already moving in with somebody under special care. So it was a uniquely shady incident. That was a lot of fun paperwork.
Yeah. Okay. So,
In my own, I have somewhat. I had a kid move in that I had only had 2 or 3 interactions with the kid before he came in. And when there were other issues at his house, but I wasn't going to let the kid go homeless. Said, I've got a couch, come on over. So, completely unfamiliar, no. Minimal familiarity, yes.
Okay.
Our place we used to have in Norman, I'm surprised that the city didn't make us get a group home license.
Yeah.
Because, in the morning, come into Kenny's room. Kenny, who are these people asleep on your floor?
Yeah.
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 But we didn't charge them for it either.
That's true, and that is the difference. The people that I knew from the internet that came and stayed at my house, I did not charge them for that.
it's true. Okay. Have we?
I think we're good. Does anybody else have any contributions?
I think I've contributed.
Okay.
All right. So now we determine if we met our extreme or other challenges. I do think Steve was extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you did a
both
good
got
job.
the
So these are
extreme.
still yours that you are keeping
Right.
for playing for later. But that one you get to keep as a trophy now.
Okay.
Was I extreme enough?
Yes.
Yes.
That everyone should always be in me. Okay.
Uh,
Angie did counterpoint.
okay.
I happen to know that Angie did
Yeah.
counterpoint.
That was so amazing, and I want to hear her actual thoughts
Yeah.
on that sometime.
Oh,
Like, oh
yeah.
my god.
So, Devin, did you smarten it up? Did you write it as though it was a term paper?
No.
think so.
I don't
Didn't.
think you did.
I couldn't do it.
I don't think
Dude,
you did.
you epic failed on that. I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm such a hippie host that I just want to like, come on in, guys. Let's meet the area.
Let me sage.
Yeah.
Right? I'll sage you.
See,
It'll be
I'll
fine.
say.
We are too, but I think there's a big difference between having people stay with you and charging them to stay with you.
Yeah.
So now we will pick our trophy cards.
Okay.
And once you've decided what trophy you want to give to someone, you're going to put it face down in front of you. Just until everybody's ready.
I already got
All right, and Steve gets to start.
Okay. I'm giving you best new perspective because the cultural authenticity was an angle I wasn't really. I hadn't thought of it going into it.
Thank you. I'm going to give you best supporting points.
Okay.
Because I felt like you made very good argumentation as to the reason for the demise of the B&B structure. The Airbnb, not the actual B&B.
Best new perspective
Thank
also.
you.
And I gave Angie most enjoyable conversation because I couldn't believe it was a counterpoint for most of it. It seemed so authentic and just.
So what you're finding out is I'm a big fat liar. That was
Good
good.
at sharing other perspectives. Sharing other
I'm
perspectives.
just so empathetic. That's
But
it.
that's true. That's true.
Always have my validation.
But we did have random people.
You
staying
did have
with us
random
for
people
long
staying with
periods
you
of
all
time.
the
Oh,
time.
I know, honey.
You did, but you didn't charge them.
You know,
It's true.
I gave them
Were you running
ears,
it as a business?
food, and a couch.
Mm.